Okay, so let's move to the services. Fine. So what includes the services, or services includes, I was talking, services includes 16 different corps. So is there a need to write all these 16? So maybe or may not be, it depends on your interest, right? But you need to consider some of the things. Just I will tell you one thing, right? If I write army, medical, corps. Now see how much important this particular thing is. So you must have heard the terminology called MH, right? MH is military hospital. So MH is at Aurangabad, MH is at Ahmednagar, MH is at Latur, right? MH is at Nanded, right? I think MH is at also Pavani. So these are the hospitals. MH is at Pune. I think Pune is having more than one MH. In fact, medical college itself is in Pune. So because of that, you can consider two different parts. Right? So wherever their units are there, wherever their commands, the battalions or the companies are there, right, you will be finding out the hospital, and that is looked up by Army Medical Corps, which is essential part, right? Then second, we can consider Army Service Corps. You people must have heard about the canteen. So services are provided, right? So there is Army Service Corps. So this service corps is looking for these kinds of tasks. Then you can consider next as Army Dental Corps, right? Army Dental Corps. Fine. So as you know, like dental hospitals and other hospitals, so as there is a differentiation here, also you will be finding out two different service corps for these two different fields. Most important, some of you might be thinking about this: Army Ordnance Corps. Right. Now see, ये असला, right? दारू, जो दारू गोला ये तो. So for that you will be have, or it is known as ordnance. So ordnance copies there, right? So I think very recently, in one of the ordnance factories at Nagpur, there was a blast, right? And huge loss is caused, right? Maybe in the last December, right? I think, to be precise. Then that is looked by this Army Ordnance Corps. Then you will be having a corps of electronics and mechanical engineers, right? Corps of electronics and mechanical engineers. See, I think in while SPIs, I had talked something about the engineering corps, or you can enter as an engineer, right? As like you enter as an doctor, right? Or you can enter as an like the soldier. So you'll be placed in these things. One more thing, those service, it is in service, right? So in this particular case, you can consider what I want to tell you, that everyone is getting training, but not everyone will be put at the border, right? Depending on your performance or depending on your utility, you will be sent in either of these things. So you might have heard there is no special recruitments for these things, although there are, right, but which are very less. But some of the people will be always migrated from this part to this one, right? So that would be the case. Suppose the special course, yes, no, after NDA it is not, right. If you want to join it, then you will be having a AFMC, right? AFMC, yes, Army is having less. Fine. So you will be, if you want to go to the medical corps, you will be having the AFMC, right? Armed Forces Medical College. So there you will enter, and there that will be 12th, after 12th, where you will be doing there your MBBS, right? If you want to go for higher studies, you are also allowed to do that. Fine. One more thing, that apart from this medical, right, nursing will be the different one, right? So that becomes again one of the corps of services. Fine. So what was it for joining? For joining Navy, the minimum percentage should be. No, it is not the case, right? It is your own perception that you people have put it in these particular, let's say, preferences. I don't think so. Fine. See, basically, how many percentage you require. If you have a first class and you have a 90%, right, that doesn't matter there, right? Because minimum eligibility criteria is 60%. So if you have a 60, 61, 69, 69, let's say anything, right? So maths, I think, not necessary, right? Because ultimately you'll be only dealing with the what I can say, medical, right? So usually as the medical student or the student who are preparing for medical, right? I think NEET. Still, I will suggest to see the brochure of AFMC, right? So it must be there, and you can see it once a while, so that before taking your admission, you will be deciding whether it is required or not, and you will accordingly go out. Then next service in this case you can consider is remount and veterinary corps, right? See, remount, and nowadays this remount is mostly being done by vehicles, but earlier camel were used, right? So that was veterinary corps. So whatever the horses, whatever the camel, whatever the dogs, right, we do have in our armed forces. So for them, there is a veterinary corps, right? Now see how all these are go hand in hand, right? Second, okay, next thing which we can consider here is military farms corps, right? So in this particular case, if you consider the military farm corps, right? See, the armed forces are having the huge land, which they are doing like the farm, right? So for that also there is a corps which is called military farms service. Then the schooling system, right? For that there is army education corps. So education to the children of these soldiers, right? So for that they have a special branch or the special division called Army Education Corps, AEC, right? Then next we can consider is the corps of military police. Someone had asked this question while SPI's classes were going on, right? So corps of military police. So you can enter as police for military, right? So that will be the corps of military police. Then you will be having a uh, next corps here is Army Postal Service Corps. Army Postal Service Corps, right? A very known song Chitti Aayi Hai, right? So that kind of thing, or you might have seen the different scenes in the movie of Border, right, related to this one. So for that they have special service corps which is called Army Postal Service Corps, right? Then apart from this, I think I have also territorial army. So it is related to army, but though territorial, but related to. So it is again a special branch or the division called Territorial Army Corps, right? So Territorial Army. Then there will be a Defense Security Corps, right? Defense Security Corps. So where it is mostly the ordnance factories, right? So or the factories which are producing the equipments, right, for the defense. So security of such things is looked up by this particular corps. So Defense Security Corps. Most important, Intelligence Corps, right? Sorry, Intelligence Corps is also part of the service, right? Sometimes you must have seen some of the movies where you might have seen the court judges, lawyers, right? So for that they have separate uh, corps which is called a judge, advocate, generals department, generals department, right? So they will be having that. And the next one is military nursing service. Now see, altogether these are the different corps, right, or the services which are always helping out the. So this is the difference between two. One is combat, another is service. No doubt, all in both of these there will be soldiers, right? There will be officers, but how these are actually executing their tasks, actually executing their work, right? Whether it is combat, right, or whether it is day-to-day work, right? So this is about the let's say basic structure which we can consider for army. See, if you know all these things, so in my opinion, so in my opinion, the in this particular case, your understanding will be always deeper. And see, deepening understanding in this particular area is always necessary. So that will, or knowing these things might be adding motivation to your dream. And that dream will not allow you to, or it will never let you to be idle. So you will be doing hard work, smart work, and trying to uh, get through the written exams and followed by the successful interview and enter into the ND, right? So obviously this would be the thing in this particular case. Now see, there will be operations, there will be execution, there will be tasks provided to each of these. So the question was related to intelligence corps, right? So you know there is a one thing called Reiki, right? So some sections go down or go to the field near, very close or nearby to the enemy and get find out their movement. So what exactly they are doing, right? Rather, very recently, I think 3-4 days back, what China has done, right, across LAC. So that could be the thing. Now, actually, if you consider corps of engineers, right, so combat support arms. So combat is divided into these three different parts, and to support these, there are these support arms, right? As in service, these are the supporting arms. For combat, these are the supporting arms. So artillery, corps of engineers, corps of army air defense, army aviation corps, and corps of signals. So these are the different things. Fine. So I was talking about intelligence corps. Apart from these, what kind of, let's say, intelligence you can get it, like raw analysis, the raw, or the what CBI, right? So that kind of thing is also being applied in the uh, let's say army, that is in the field of, or in the area of our intelligence corps. So it is being carried out by, see, grabbing the information or grabbing the movements of the enemy. Now, what they are doing, right? What exactly kind of things they are doing. So what happened in across the LAC, the authentic media in China has published the photographs of the Chinese soldiers preparing during nights across LAC, right? So that would be the case. And yesterday there was a news that now Honorable Prime Minister Modi has done something, and now China is going back, or China is holding, right? So see, it is not that much easy that to do these kinds of things and start, or the beginning of the war, right? So there is no country in the world who can now sustain a war, right? Not because of the pandemic, but if you consider the amount required, very huge amount is required always for fighting a war. Then why this is happening, right? Always there are some news across the globe, right? Across the borders of some of the countries. See, that always is a part of politics, right? I may be crossing the limit, but what I feel. So, the complete nation's mind, or the, let's say, the situations in the nation can be completely diverted by doing something at the border. So in these days, Chinese people, right? So all over the world, they are coming back to their country, and and the production in the Chinese have been lowered down, right? So many of the people have lost their jobs, as the case may be in India, right? And the China is crowded than us. So if we Indians are having the difficulty in surviving day-to-day lives, right? So what could be the case of China? And that should not be there, right? See, after a few days, right, I do have a fear in India, it may be, right, after a few months, there might be strikes, the people may get on the road, right? Those who are dying because of shortage of food. So this, now the China is in that particular state, right? So it should not happen. So divert the minds of all the peoples or the countrymen, right? And the border, the issue related to border is always kept at the heart of everyone, right? So in that particular case, we always forget our own problems if something is happening at the border. And so we have never, we really, in reality, we always pay less to our own, right? So is that see, that is what I can say. Beyond this, I may be saying it is a mutual, right? Because both the countries are the the government officials sitting or running the government needs both needs such kind of things. So it might be right, or genuinely it might be a problem. But what I said, what I feel, right? So India is not in that particular state, at least today, but China is in that particular stage, and therefore to divert the mind of their people, they must have done this, or this might be one of the causes. Otherwise, there is no need. Everyone is fighting with the pandemic, right? So everyone is struggled a lot in this particular case, and in this particular, let's say, pandemic or worst situation, which country will dare to fight a war? Thousands of crores are always being wasted per day, right, while fighting the war. Apart from the losing the lives of your soldiers, which are trained, right? So this may not be happening, and hopefully today it will get settled down, right? As I said, LOC and LAC. So there will be always two opinions, that LOC is having that much border. Pakistan will be saying that there will be thousands of kilometers. India will be saving around 776 kilometers. Likewise, about LAC, China will be saying that it is only, I think, around 1,000 kilometers. But India always claims that it is more than 3,300, I think, 43 kilometers. So it is not approved by anyone, right? Or it is not approved till date. And from 1987, the LSC, in fact, it was being demarcated maybe in 1993, right? About LSC, and LOC is, I think, after 1990. No, LOC is long back, right? So, but the LOC is whatever you talked, I don't know, but I just know it is one of the dialogues of LOC Kargil. It might be, right? See, these codings are always there, right? So someone would love Edil Mange more, right? Someone would like to be called lion. Someone would like to be called Shersha, right? Someone will be like to call tiger. Right? So these are the terminologies which are always being used, and sometimes that particular terminologies get famous, right? So every what we can say, every Indian now, if hear a word Mahi, so directly it goes that it is MS, right? So that kind of popularity is always being there. Unfortunately, thing is that the actual or the real heroes, which are always fighting at the border, get less attention to these terminologies, and the Bollywood celebrities or the sportsmen, particularly cricket, get much more popularity. I don't mean they should not, right? But if they are getting this much, equally others should also get, right? About these things. So that will be coming. So we are going for the mottos and the flags of this, right? So I have planned, once if you go through the what we can say, the basic structure, right, of Army, Air Force, and Navy, then we will be always going for that particular, what I can say, their mottos, their flags, what slogans are there, what statements are there, right? So that would be the case. So you should not worry about these things. Just wait for 1 or 2 sessions, and you will be there, right? So, okay, anything which you would like to ask about this particular? Because I think we are in last few minutes of the session. My suggestion to you, at least try to remember these things and try to correlate some of these terminologies with the incidents you have come across it might be in the story hearings, it might be in the movies, uh, it might be discussed in the uh, let's say interviews of the highly ranked personnel, right? So I think what to question, armored corps. Right? So see, what we can consider here, you yourself always get involved in some of the tasks, right? Suppose uh, you wanted to be associated with the let's say, what I can say, the launcher, right? Motor launcher, right? Or that particular no, I could not get this. Send all information. That doesn't. No, I couldn't get it. Right. Okay. If no further questions, so I will just introduce you to the commands of Navy. Commands of Navy. Right. Now, see, as like Indian Army is having 7 different commands, so Navy is having 3 commands, and each of these command is commanded by, or the commanding officer is commanded by vice admiral, right? Vice admiral. So which these 3 commands are, right? If you consider, yes, okay, no, Aditya is asking, but sir, but this is not for the officer of NDA. No, see, after passing NDA, right, you have to, you will be going to uh, one of the one of the different academies for your further training, and after that you'll be placed as commission officer, and you never know, you might be placed somewhere among these, right? Depending on their requirement and your utility, or I will say it straight away, the performance you have during those during that training tenure, right? So I think earlier also I said, though though it is not directly required for NDA, as like there will be a question on geography, right? Latitudes and let's say longitudes. There may be a question on the solar system, right? So likewise, there may not be a question on these, right? Exactly, but to deepen the understanding of the questions which are being asked, so there will be directly question on the rank, no doubt, right? So many a time the question on the rank has been asked clearly, fine. But again, to see, as I said, I think many a times I said a story, right? So according to that particular, some other day I will make you understand that particular thing, right? So it is necessary, in my opinion. Work of Defense Security Corps is to guarding of ordnance factory. Is it right? Yes. Which post we have after ENDA? No, after ENDA you will be only a gentleman cadet. No post you will be having, right? Because after ENDA, if you are entering into army, you have to uh, undergo 1 more year's training, right? Then you have to more than 16 months for Air Force and around 1 year for Navy, right? So in during that you will be always called as the gentleman cadet. No rank is there or no post is there. Right? Okay, I think I will stop here. So time is over, and tomorrow we will continue with the commands of Navy. Tomorrow I will try to finish both commands in Navy and Air Force. Right. Okay. So I will quit the meeting. Rushikesh sir, work of that gentleman is to carry out further training, nothing else.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I will quit.
Try to join again. There will be the maths lecture. Try to join again. There will be the maths lecture. Within a minute, I will start it. Try to join again.